Okay. Hello, everyone. It's Brian, and I'm back. It's been a week. Sorry, definitely has been a week. Has been a week, and then some. For those of you not in the United States, we had Memorial Day weekend, and I came back on Thursday afternoon and from New York City, and I was wiped. I actually had taken all of my stuff with me with the idea that I would be able to do a stream or two in the hotel when I got there. Um, One, I found that the internet was not as strong as it normally is in the Hilton in downtown in Midtown Manhattan. I also found out that it was graduation week in New York City, which means that there are way more people than I expected to be in New York. And so I don't know if that caused any issues, but the hotel was completely sold out to the point where even my premium Wi-Fi was not allowing me to, do things like, stream to do setup of streaming. So that, and I was just wiped at the end of the day between work and, you know, um, learning new things and dealing with projects and stuff at work. Sorry, one sec. Okay. Yeah, I was just completely wiped. I came home around 7 o'clock Eastern, and I was just like, blah. So I had to decompress and realized that there was just a confluence of forces that were not positive to getting me to stream. So I did not. And okay, well, I didn't shut my door, but I'll do that in a second. Yeah, so how's everybody doing? Hope everyone had a good week, a good holiday for those of you in the United States. Hope you had a good Monday off, not having to deal with us US Americans if you are outside the United States. I always enjoy travel, but this one, I don't know, this travel hit harder this time. It was a 5 hour flight out of San Diego direct to JFK, which I've flown that way before. It's not like a huge deal, but I don't know. It just hit differently this time. I don't know if it's probably the oldness, probably. Um, yeah, I felt older. Hey, Slyborg, how are you doing? Glad you're here. Sorry, I just switched over to my chat tab. So, uh, yeah, just it was beautiful in New York. I mean, mid 70s. It was quite a huge difference in temperature between that and in like January. Yes, the old will get you. Yes, Liborg. Um, yeah, I didn't have to bundle up, and it was I could walk around in t-shirt and jeans and whatever. And January was like 35 degrees, and I definitely felt it more. So yeah. Um, so yeah, eventually everybody gets the olds. There, Slyborg, I think. So we all get the olds. Uh, so yeah, let me see what we got going on in the browser. Of course, my browser's not working. That would mean that my browser was working properly. And there we go. Okay, perfect. Yeah, so I don't know what happened to Sockville because I love those threat intelligence quizzes, but haven't seen them online in the last few weeks. So I found some rather interesting news articles, and we'll probably I got to tell you the boot.dev stuff's kicking my collective ass with regards to um, uh, object-oriented programming. I'm not getting it, and I understand the underlying concepts, but really suffering through the object-oriented programming stuff, which I find ironic because a lot of the work that I just did at my on-site in New York City, well, I see a lot of object-oriented programming in there. So uh, yeah, Python uses object-oriented programming in an odd way. Well, not odd way, odd to me. You one of those people who could tell me you were any age and I would believe. Well, in this light, I've been told I'm in my, low 60s or, I am, yeah, I appreciate any false number that you decide to give me, Slyborg, in terms of my age. I will tell you that I just turned that in March. So, um, I am more than 10 years old and less than 90. So, uh, I don't know if it's positive or negative, but yeah. Uh, okay, so we can click that. And sometimes I feel more than 90, but it just is what it is. Um, so I have issues with sites like HelpNet Security because some of their news articles are just water's wet, grass is green, sky's blue, assholes are assholes. Asshole's gonna asshole. This one is vulnerabilities found in NASA's open source software, and you're thinking, oh, that's awful. And in the same breath, you're like, NASA has open source software, which yes, they do. Um, and so there's a person who is security researcher and founder of a startup that I've never heard of called ThreatLeap. Um, Great. So he's a serial founder. That's great. He discovered and reported a number of vulnerabilities in NASA's CDF, or Common Data Format Library. Got fixed by developers, but some of the other software that he is looking at is in GitHub, so it's open source. He found bugs in open source code. I mean, that's pretty much the article here. He discovered Stack Overflow's and portable environment for quick image processing. Uh, if you have code, you're going to have vulnerabilities. That's just the way of things. If you have people who develop code or people who trust too much on AI, you're going to have vulnerabilities. That being the stack-based buffer overflow, which, for those of you who are unaware, depending, make sure I explain it correctly. Yeah, there you go. So it's just really poor bounds checking in source code. And so, they have examples in Wikipedia here, but if you give like a buffer 12, like right here where the character, you've got 12 characters in this field. And by some method, this fixed buffer gets 13 characters. One, if you don't do proper bounds checking, because there's no bounds checking here for strcpy, it will write those 13 characters into a 12 character spot, thus overflowing the buffer and causing you to be able to control the EIP, or the pointer of where the next instructions will go for that software. So if like the next bit over is, go to this location in memory, you will be able to control potentially program execution on, and where it goes. And you can say, well, instead of it going this way, I can make it move over here. And some things you can do and some things you can't do. What do they say here? They'll often cause the program to crash or operate incorrectly. Operating incorrectly in this case would be remote code exec, or arbitrary code execution, or controlling the pointer in memory that allows you to do other things, like maybe you want to sideload a DLL or something like that. And if I'm wrong, somebody please let me know in chat. There are certain things, and probably what happened, this person, this researcher, found this stuff in GitHub, which is great. I don't know if NASA has a bug bounty program. My so this is not FFmpeg. This is not wget. This is not curl. This is software that is important to a niche audience. So yes, it does need to be fixed. Is it worthy of a story about it? I don't know. I mean, if you are, if you need a tool for creating 3D models of aircrafts for engineering analysis purposes, this affects you, especially if you're using something like OpenVSP or Rias or Omnius or any of these things. If you're using any of these tools, know that there are vulnerabilities out there. Know that there are cross-site scripting vulnerabilities in some of the web applications that NASA has created. This software is out there to be looked at, to be audited, if you believe open source folks. And yeah, see, the particularly alarming is that you can allow for remote code execution. Um, there's, I mean, they're not wrong with some of the things they state in here. My thought was, uh, there's just a lot here, and I see that a lot with things like bug bounties or people who are submitting research, to conferences to talk about. They find these vulnerabilities and they're like, oh, it's so important that they fix these things, and it's like, are these tools that are used in massive places? Are these tools that are going to be used to target certain groups of people? Uh, if yes, state-sponsored actors could exploit flaws in those things, assuming those conditions were there to allow the nation-state actors to get into the system. Now, as we've seen in the past, if a nation-state actor had had gotten access to the GitHub in such a way as to allow for, hey, I got a patch here for this issue that people have got inside, this really popular GitHub issue. If you wanted to break into an ecosystem, find the most popular thing that hasn't been fixed by those developers, write a patch that would also maybe have a backdoor in it, or write a patch that actually works, so that way you build your reputation. And then, eventually you're going to get trusted enough that you're going to be allowed to, um, add your own code and do whatever it is that you'd like to do. And it's good that they fix these issues. I won't lie. I just don't think it's worth all of this text to say that they have, oh, so, okay, so it's not under bug bounty, so he either got paid or he got paid a lot less for that. And I did not know NASA had a bug bounty program, but it sounds like they do. So yeah, if you are interested in helping find bugs in NASA code, it sounds like it's not all that difficult. They have a GitHub right here that you can go to. I'd imagine they're very much like some of the imagery that they create with the satellites and with the rovers and everything. Once NASA gets them, they have a certain amount of time to vet those before they have to become public. But they're working on a ton of stuff here. Here's an operational simulator for satellites, C, Python, TypeScript, HTML, OpenMCT, a web-based mission control framework. Okay. All of these are very active, so that's kind of cool. 572 repos from NASA to do various things. So interesting. I don't know what some of these are. There might actually be some interesting things in here. Looks like it's all over the place though with code. You've got TypeScript, Python, Clojure, Ruby. Wow, maybe that's some of NASA's problem. They've got too many languages that they're using for these things. Wow. Yeah, some of these have been updated fairly regularly, including this one 12 minutes ago. So very active repo if you ever wanted to just poke around on pretty much anything that could be ran. So let me grab that. There we go. Paste. Let's get rid of that. Anyway, so yeah, so last week was not a good time for some folks. I know that some of our regular people on our stream are now looking for work. There's I actually have an interview that I'm trying to set up with somebody who just got recently removed from their position at a Fortune 10-ish company. I think they're Fortune 1, but going to be talking with that person very soon about what it's like to be in their position. Um, Keep an eye out on that. We're still working on dates and times and everything, but I'm really hoping she'll be able to join us. But yeah, there's a lot of folks out there that are looking for work. I know CPO Parker, Walt has been, is one of our regular contributors to the stream. Still looking for, probably looking for a position. I know that it looks like several jobs are being posted. I think LinkedIn has started listening to people about feedback on, what is available and what jobs and the ghost jobs and everything. Because I am starting to see people and organizations, because because LinkedIn has become a different social media network than it was in the past. Um, it seems like they're actually taking some of the input and critique to heart about jobs that are available in various places. Oh wow, okay, product manager and Script D, huh? Okay, but there are several positions available in around the country in hybrid model, uh, and yeah, there's even remote positions available. So jobs are definitely moving. It's just uh, I think it's taking time, right? I think just like we did with the pandemic, where a lot of companies were over hiring, now we're kind of swinging back to, um, we're kind of getting back to this middle thing where we've had layoffs and we're right sizing, and then some people are like, oh, maybe we need to start swinging back. So I think it's going to start moving where we're going to get more people in the organizations, and there's several jobs in the San Diego area at least, and there are several remote ones here too. So, wow, that's a pretty decent job. Let's go look at that one. Sandbox AQ. Okay. The problem with a lot of these jobs that are hiring is this word right here, AI. So you need to have examples or work on AI related items. Say familiarity with one or more of the domains. AI, ML, cryptography, security. Um, they have government requirements, so you need you need to be a citizen. So that limits the H-1B visas, which if you're worried about competing with somebody who doesn't live in the country, that would be positive for you. But you need to have experience or classes or underlying familiarity, as they said, familiarity with one or more of the topics. And somebody had turned me on to a Udemy course that is very good about, where is it? Oh, no, no, no. It's this one right here. All right. So Udemy doesn't pay us for any kind of pimping out of the classes. This person is definitely not pimping it, getting, paying for us to pimp them out. Somebody I work with just recently took this course. It was a very good course if you are trying to pass the AWS certified AI practitioner certification. This is a good first course. It's 10 hours long, which it's not a lot. It's a 10-hour on-demand video, has a practice test. There are some, the idea is this is prep course for taking the AWS course, AWS certified practitioner. Copy. Because the whole idea is we need to keep ourselves. Yeah, there we go. So this one here, certified AI practitioner, validates in-demand knowledge of artificial intelligence, machine learning, generative AI concepts, and use cases. She suggested doing the Udemy course, but you can also do the AWS courses for free. Well, actually, these are $100. So, um, yeah, uh, it's person view. Of course it is. SAM guides. So there, it depends on how you want to study for these. There's no shortage of these classes out there, and some of them go a little more expensive, $150 for learning to create machine learning algorithms in Python and R. Um, there's a ton of stuff out there. Everybody's got an AI or an ML course. Um, but yeah, I mean, if you want a suggestion, I would say this one works pretty well. 4.8, 18,000 people have rated it. It is 45 bucks. But the idea is you're supposed to be able to take this, and I think it teaches you about Bedrock, Amazon Q, SageMaker. Um, Actually, I used a bit of Bedrock this last week, as a matter of fact. One of the things I learned about importing data into an AI is different file formats, right? If you take a CSV and you are trying to ingest this or import this data in, there are things called data frames that you actually have to convert your data to. If you have a JSON file or a CSV or XML or some kind of, that's onions. You take and you have to, let's see, data frame AI. Yeah, so there are data structures in AI, stereotypical situations. They encapsulate information about objects. Um, but there's ways that you do it, and you set it up and you convert, like, oh, what is it? Convert JSON to data frame. Yes, pandas data frame. Yes, 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 yes. Um, it's a data manipulation. So it's like when you take a JSON or CSV file and you turn it into a Parquet file. So if you're trying to import it in, so the Parquet file, um, not Parquet flooring, Parquet file. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, Parquet file format, and it changes it to from row-based storage to columnar storage. And it's just a different way of instead of by rows, it's keeping everything in line. So ID 123 123, and it's supposed to. It actually changes the size of your files, but I deal a lot with Parquet files because of some of the data sources that I have to import those into. So I take a CSV, convert it to a Parquet file. For those of you who use OS X, there's TAD file, which you can use to, TAD is a desktop viewer for analyzing Parquet files or CSV or SQLite. I actually got this because I wanted to make sure my Python script that I was using to convert CSV to Parquet files was actually working. And this will actually allow you to create pivot tables, but it's a nice little, oh, and it's for Windows as well. Okay, so you can use it in Windows, Mac, or Silicon Mac, or Linux. So it's available that way. Works really well when it does work. Link. There we go. But anyway, yeah, so data frames, where is it? Yeah, data frames are quite interesting. Some things like Amazon Bedrock, I think, will automatically do that for you, so you don't have to convert those data frames. But there are some AI or ML models that you will have to convert that into a format that it can understand. So being able to, let's see, where is it? Right here. Is this it? Yes. Yeah, pandas data frame. So it turns it into a data frame, and it's actually like a coordinate reference kind of thing. It was kind of interesting to see that. The output for that data is completely different than what you might see otherwise. The good thing is Pandas is a module inside of Python that will automatically do a lot of that stuff for you, so you don't have to worry about trying to convert it yourself. That's it. Man, that smells good. What is that? Pandas data frame. Size mutable data structure organizes data in rows and columns similar to a table. Otherwise, depending on how much data you have, it will take a while to ingest that data into your system. Yeah, here we go. Two-dimensional data structure, two-dimensional array, or a table with rows and columns. And so, yeah, you get so you take your JSON blob here, your key value pairs, and it's going to, um, you know, put those in a, duration and a calories. And these may not be exactly the same, but the idea is that it's going to, um, yeah, location attribute, one or more. So it gives you a coordinate location for those things. Refer to the row index, right? And where is it? But anyway, so I'm not speaking intelligently to it, but I would just say, it's something I didn't know existed. So when you're dealing with vector databases, your data frames in your vector databases have to be formatted a certain way. And so it's kind of made me think that after I finish my OOP stuff and my boot.dev, I need to go back through and maybe start this course just to get a bare minimum idea of, you know, uh, how to deal with those things, or at least be able to speak intelligently to them, because I'm working with a lot of teams at my job that deal with a lot of AI stuff, or it's part of our goal-oriented 2026 is going to be find ways to shove AI into things. And that if we as security people are not doing our utmost to understand the concepts, how can we expect our developer teams to speak intelligently or to implement things in an intelligent manner? So that is where I am right now from a TPM point of view, trying to make sure that when somebody says, "Oh, you got to add your data frames to your whatever," I can go, "Ah, yes, okay, I understand what you're talking about." If I have to, if they're looking to me to be the security person, I can't even understand what a vector database is, or a data frame, or being able to convert those, or what a Parquet file is. I'm going to be sucking. So. Um, yeah, got to stay ahead of this stuff. Considering I am, to Slyborg's point, I got a little age on me, so gotta stay up with the kids these days and work that out. So, but yeah, I would for those. I know that there are folks out there hurting for jobs, and I know that they are looking. I don't believe you will ever go wrong taking some of these courses. Now, I will say, don't go for a 2-year AI degree, or this certification from ISC squared up to Squat University or whatever is going to take 2 years to do. I wouldn't say doing a 2-year engagement on an AI is a good idea, because if you sign up for it today, by the time you finish that AI course 2 years from now, what you learned at month 1 will be completely different than what was there at the end of the thing. So I would say whatever you're going to do needs to be really fast and short term to kind of get you up to speed with the concepts, or find something that deals with the concepts, like must be vegetable soup. That it was like when I think I was talking with the same person who recommended this course for, and actually let me. Yes, this is the one. Paste. I think the like when Kubernetes and when Docker came out, it was like there were so many books written about this. And don't buy books. And I know some people will be like, blasphemer, don't buy No Starch Press, don't buy O'Reilly books, don't buy books on AI or how to do AI or whatever. And I'm going to tell you why, because I have a thought on this. I have edited books for content from O'Reilly and other places like that. Some of these books take anywhere between 12 to 18 months to create, and it could be less. could be less. But by the time the author has started writing the book on something like AI or Docker or Kubernetes or some kind of technology that is like moving at a fast rate, by the time that book gets out, unless they've done last minute edits to update for the latest new hotness, that book is already out of style, out of, and will be laughable. It's one of the reasons that I have not bought any books on things like Kubernetes or Docker or AI, is because by the time somebody has written a book, it's already a year old, and some of the things in that book no longer make sense. So that's why I suggest, if you're going to learn about AI, or if you're going to get any kind of certification in this stuff, you're going to want to get something like this, and not exactly like this, but you're going to take a Udemy class, right? You want it to be a quick class. You want it to be something that's going to be like fresh. And I don't know how old this one is. Okay, so this was updated in May. So new changes have been made. This person's added new video. Maybe they've updated the slides or whatever. So it sounds like they're curating this as they go along. Things, for me, AI is like finding out like next week, oh, the earth is flat. It's like everything you knew about AI is different next week. Next week we're going to be able to do blah. What happened this week, you'll be able to do that next week. Any limitations in AI next week will only be. That's how quickly things are moving. So take something that's going to get you a certification that you may have to maintain. So you'll have that impetus where you'll want to continue learning about this, and you'll be able to take this and like you'll learn about Bedrock, Amazon Q, SageMaker, AWS AI services. If you don't like the ecosystem stuff, I'm sure Google has AI courses as well. Microsoft probably has a Copilot course as well. Copilot course. Anthropic probably has training as well if you want to learn Claude. I'd say all of them do. I would just say, if you're going to stick with one maybe that your company is working on, but find more generic training if you can, that will work across, what is all AIs do same things, right? They just maybe call them something different, but they're basically the same. It's like they take input, they're going to crunch some shit in the background, they're going to send you output. That is an AI. That's a web application for all intents and purposes. Have whatever training you're going to get, don't make it a long-term thing, especially with AI or ML. I don't know how to not continue beating. I don't want to beat y'all down with that, but I'm just saying, I have seen stories where people are like, oh, I spent 3 years being a SOC analyst or learning how to be a SOC analyst. I'm about to graduate my SOC analyst job, qualifications and degree. What kind of jobs can I expect? And I'm like, AI is taking your job about 6 months ago, kid. Sorry. There will be companies that, much like in the early 2010s, 2005, 2010, they were scared of AI. So there may still be companies out there that are like, yeah, we don't want to deal with AI. We will still do everything with humans. So there may still be jobs for entry-level SOC people. Those are going to dry up, because just like when everybody was afraid of using the cloud and everybody still had on-prem stuff, and a lot of security people railed against the cloud because that's somebody else's computer, security people lost, and everybody's in the cloud now. And security people were like, okay, we need to learn about the cloud. Then Docker and Kubernetes came out, and everybody's like, nope, I like my physical, hard drives. I like my physical, bare metal, and I'm going to continue using this. And everybody's gone to containerization. Everybody uses those technologies, and security people kind of need to get on the bus and use that stuff. Same thing with AI, same thing with ML. The only one I see that probably didn't come to real fruition was like the blockchain. Even some companies were like, I don't even know what we're going to do with the blockchain. They tried to make a go of it, but that didn't happen. I think AI is going to be a different ball of wax. And we should not, as security people, um, say, yeah, that's not going to happen, resist, because it's going to happen. And your company is going to do it with or without you. And by without you, I mean, they may ask an AI based on data that is collected in your organizations. There's rumors I've already heard that some layoffs were based on AI input. Like, who do you think based on Slack channel messages or Zoom messages or, correspondence internally might have some resistance to company goals? And, uh, you know, there might have been some AI suggested in the latest layoffs. Not going to say which company, but there's been a suggestion that AI might be helping, the hatchet men figure out who's going to be a good fit in the company for years to come, or who might be more resistant and not a team player based on how you communicate, where you communicate, your latest forte, type evaluations, those kinds of things. If you've gotten a yearly evaluation, keep track of what your negative feedback input is, because um, those kinds of things could be fed into an AI to decide whether or not you're going to be a team player going forward with certain goal initiatives. Um, it's scary, but that's just what it is. So, um, yeah, it's unfortunate, but I have heard that there has, and again, but yeah, layoffs could very well be based on how much of a team player you are and how much the AI believes that you're a team player. And um, yeah, it's just an interesting bit there. But yeah, I have to fire up my Udemy. I have to fire up my Udemy. Do they have a personal plan? So the one thing I will tell you is that $49.99 class, you might be able to get it for cheaper if you sign up for something like this, where it's like you get access to a number of courses. If you can finish it within the month, then you can, maybe get it for $20 instead of that $49.99 course. See what else do you get here? Certification prep, Gulf, analytics and adoption reports. Okay, that's a team plan. Um, I want to try this for free just to see if you can get that course for free. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I would say you can try it free for 7 days and see what you get available to you. That you may have to supply a credit card to get that way. Yeah, I'm not gonna sign up for that. Um, I don't know if you get that course, if you would get that $49.99 course for free. But if you could get that course, yeah, if you could get this $49.99 course for free, $44.99 course for free, then yeah, 30-day money back guaranteed, lifetime access. Learn now plans is applied, Udemy coupon. Okay, so this premium course is included in plans. All right, so you probably, oh no, okay, so if you sign up for their $20 a month plan, you probably get this course for free. So you could actually save yourself about 25 bucks if you did that. Um, but you have to finish it within, the month or whatever. It's only 10 hours. So if you did like 5 hours a day or something like that, it would go quickly. Um, Preparing for the exam, practice exam, AWS certified AI practitioner. My guess is that you can go directly to test out for the exam on AWS's site. If let's see, where is it? No, no, there it is. Can you just go directly to the Test. Find a training event, find a classroom training, find training on Twitch. Cloud Institute education programs. So you can take the pre-test. How long is certification valid for? You'll recertify by passing the latest version of the exam or earning the certifier machine learning engineer associate, which will automatically recertify this cert. Okay, so you get valid for 3 years. Option 2, pass the latest certified cloud practitioner exam, pass any one of the associate level exams, or pass any one of the professional level exams. Okay, so they don't have like CPEs or CEUs. You just keep taking more courses and then you will pass. I don't, it's very, it's almost like, SANS is, except they give you the option to do CPEs where you don't have to keep taking courses at $7,000 a pop or whatever. Option 1 is free during the beta period. Okay. So if you've done this one before and it expired, you've got until July 2025 to take it free to recertify during the beta period, July 2025. So you've got a few more months if you need to recertify your AI certification. But anyway, so yeah, sorry, I got off on a tangent here. None of these companies are sponsored by or sponsor us. It's just there's just a lot of decent training out there. I think you can take for AI and ML stuff. Just depends on how specific you want to get. Like if you want to be locked into AWS stuff, or if you want to get locked into Microsoft or Google or Anthropic or whatever. And I think Amazon Q is based off of Anthropic or Claude or whatever. Anthropic training. So if you're a big fan of, so AI learning sources, build with Claude, start developing Claude-powered applications, API guides and best practices, Claude for work, Claude for personal. There's every AI is going to have some kind of training out there because they want you to use their AI, right? This is kind of the new selling point, right? We want you to use our stuff. Ours is better than other people's, but we need to prove to you through training, through documentation, whatever, that we can do that. Commitments. What's commitments? Transparency, responsible scaling, security and compliance. What is this? Okay. Okay, so Claude is used with Amazon Bedrock as well, also with Google Cloud's Vertex AI. They also have Claude for Enterprise. They're ISO whatever 42001 compliant. Okay, great. I guess that's helpful if you want to use them as as something in your application. So yeah, Claude has stuff. What's the other one? Not Olama training, but what is it? Claude Copilot training. Yeah, I mean, Microsoft's got a ton of stuff. Understanding how to streamline comms and power up your content, how it works, how they're committed to responsible AI. I'm not sure that that's the certification that we're looking for, but they do have career paths for that as well. AI engineer, DevOps engineer, AI engineer. There we go. Browse the official plan for AI engineers. They have a career path there as well. Yeah, they got a ton of stuff. Let's see, 50 days of learning with deep dives, hackathons, and more. AI Skills Fest. It's going on right now. April. No, it's just about the just about the end. So it's a little late there. Start a plan. To do what? Able to plan and manage an Azure AI solution. each one of these do something different, which I find interesting. Microsoft wants you to use all of the Azure stuff with this. It seems like all of them do it a little bit differently, probably with a different UI, right? And Amazon wants you to, do different things with Amazon Q. They have uh, featured services for that. Artificial intelligence pricing, yeah. Uh, yeah. Let's see, Feedly. Let's see, InfoSec. Threat Intelligence Digest. Oh, sorry. Has anybody taken any training? I know that I probably should have asked this question, but have you taken any courses on AI or anything that is any good that you'd like to share with folks? I mean, I shared this one only because it's AWS related. Anybody taking anything for like whatever Google is using? I don't know. I forgot what is Google's AI called? Is it Gemini? That's it, Gemini. Yeah. So they have Gemini training, I'm sure. So yeah, they have a whole generative AI course here. I don't need it for email and stuff like that, but let's see, wanted to create applications using Gemini. Mm, 12 days of training to learn how to use generative AI. Vertex Agent Builder, uh, Gemini 2.5. Developers Guide to LLMs, 10-minute video exploring the exciting world of large language models, different AI model options, analyze pricing structures. That's not what you'd want. Now, I do find this interesting. This is one of the first few that I've seen where it has talked about fairness and bias. I know Google got their ass whooped because of biases in their AI. Um, that's an interesting article, or an interesting to have for training, where they're talking about fairness and bias. Google seems so far, and I haven't looked at the entire catalog for like Google and AWS, but understanding how biases are added in your AI algorithms is definitely something you want to keep track of. Why is okay? I don't want to get started like doing any of this shite, so let go. Can't even scroll. What shit is this? This is shit. How do they not allow you to click through these things? Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and they have transcripts as well. So Google's doing what they and you can't scroll. God damn. I do not wish to sign into Google. Thank you very much. Um, but yeah, there's a good number of things here. Anyway, um, and I think that's the other thing that we want to. There should be no reason where you're having to oh, I don't know where to get training for AI stuff. There it is right there. There's numerous places you can go to learn about AI stuff, to get familiar with those things, and brag about yourself on LinkedIn. Hey, I've just finished taking this AI course. I just finished taking this ML course. Here's the thing that I built in said AI course, and here's what I learned how to do that. We're needing to find ways to market ourselves, especially in security, that we're familiar, we understand the concepts. Maybe write a blog post about what you learned in those classes. If you are, and maybe write a blog about what you learned in an AI course and use AI to help you draft that. It's turtles all the way down, man. Um, you know, if you're not a very good writer, that's what AI is for. I would say, and especially the one thing I have learned And let's bring it back to me. Let's bring it back to just me. One of the problems I have with writing large amounts of information, or how things do at work, it's very much a writing culture. So they want you to write half a page on something, or they want you to, write up a point paper about why X is bad or why Y is good or whatever. I get an analysis paralysis because I always assume anything that I'm going to write is not very good, that it is hot garbage, and that I'm just going to get tore apart in the process of writing these things. So why bother writing anything? What I have found is that asking the AI a question and having it give me 2 to 3 paragraphs to get started, like a seed, if you will. Um, Sometimes I'll read through what the AI wrote. No, that's stupid. No, I need to say this, or I need to do this. And before you know it, I have a page and a half of something that um, I know is going to get tore up by people that are going to be reviewing this thing. But I have set those expectations that no matter what I would have written, and I could have spent 15 hours trying to get that same page and a half and knowing that people are going to tear it up, or I can spend 2 hours working on something that an AI did, and okay, I can add comments here, and that's a good point. I can expound upon that, or it may, I can write 2 hours on something that I know is going to be about 80% there, because I know whatever I give them is going to get tore up anyway. So I've saved myself like 8 hours and a ton of stress. And if you want to think of it that way, in terms of the stress of not having to write, God, I need to figure out how to write 5 pages on paper clips or something like that. Use that AI to help you get over that analysis paralysis, or that imposter syndrome of whatever you write is not going to be good enough. Of course, it's not going to be good enough for people you work with if you're writing a point paper, um, or if you need slides for something, that kind of thing. If you need 5 slides for something you're working on, your writing is never going to be good enough for people you work with. So um, if you keep that mindset and know that I can spend 10 hours and I'm going to have the same amount of comments as if I wrote something for 2.5 hours, um, you'll get over that hump. Um, yeah. So I went down a rabbit hole, didn't mean to, but I just know that there's a lot of folks in our industry hurting right now, trying to find jobs. Everybody's looking for jobs, people with familiarity with AI, or being able to, talk about those concepts. So get out there, take some training. You're not old. You're not too old to start taking training and learning new things. Um, and worst comes to worst, there's open source projects out there that will be more than willing to take your code commits and whatever. I actually thought, after I take all my boot.dev stuff, I can't start over as a programmer, but maybe I can contribute to an open source project or an open source uh, you know program or something like that that's available. Um, so here's something, and I'm going to reshare my screen because I can. Okay. So Coca-Cola got ransomed, according to cybernews.com. This is kind of concerning. It's a company. Company got owned up left, right, and center, and ransomware, right? So in this case, a lot of companies that we've seen, even though it's frowned upon by the U.S. government, don't pay the ransom, which is all well and good until you're the company that is being ransomed, right? And every minute that you're not running at peak efficiency on your website, you're losing tens of millions of dollars. Some organizations are just like, yeah, whatever, go ahead and do what you want. We're not going to we're not going to pay the ransom. In this case, that's what Coca-Cola did. They said an alleged ransomware attack, the hackers had publicly released all of Coca-Cola's internal data. And what is concerning to me is that they showed up on a dark web leak site run by the Everest ransomware gang on 22nd May. Hackers claimed they'd swiped the personal data of nearly 1,000 employees, most tied to Coca-Cola's Middle East distributor. So, anybody in the Arabian Peninsula, Iran, not Iran, probably. I doubt Coca-Cola has Iranian employees. If they do, cool, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, those areas like that. So 1,000 employees. So they found it on one of the servers in the EMEA, Europe, Middle East, Asia area, Turkey, that kind of place. Coca-Cola, who's headquartered here in the United States, I guess. They said the time ran out. Cartel gave them until the 27th to, contact them and make a deal before they dumped the data. Apparently, Coca-Cola said, "Yeah, we're not going to pay the ransom." So, 1,000 employees in the Middle East region have now had their data leaked by the Everest ransomware gang. So United Arab Emirates and Bahrain in Qatar. Passport scans, visa copies, IDs, probably foreign nationals who maybe work in Qatar or the United Arab Emirates. So, yeah, personal numbers. So I'm assuming personal numbers would be equivalent to social security numbers, like here in the States. Tax IDs potentially. Full name, date of birth, nationality, passport issue and expiry dates and IDs, addresses, occupations, ID or passport numbers, and sponsor numbers. So yeah, if they're the equivalent of an H-1B for the United States, if you work in the United Arab Emirates, you may have needed a work visa to be able to work in that country. That's the number for that. So Coca-Cola just didn't care, apparently. There's breach of this scale could trigger regulatory investigations under local data protection laws. What's the alternative, right? Coca-Cola pays the ransom and they get in trouble with one government or numerous governments, or they don't pay the ransom, that information gets leaked, and now they're under investigation for local protection, data protection laws for not protecting the data of employees who work at, in the United Arab Emirates or Qatar, in this case. So, yeah, wow. Okay, so this is not the first issue that Coca-Cola's had in this week. So their Euro-Pacific partners, their bottler has also had data borrowed from them from their popular Salesforce CRM platform. Great. It's likely they didn't breach Coca-Cola directly. They may have slipped in through a compromised Salesforce account. That's sure, that makes sense. The crew behind the alleged breach said they also had Samsung Germany earlier this year. An attack that leaked 270,000 customer support tickets. Shit. That's crazy. Oh. Who is the Everest ransomware group? They're Russian-linked Blackbyte cartel. Okay. We learned about cartels. They're the ones that are starting affiliation programs, or like AWS, but for bad people as a service, right? They're creating affiliates, or they're creating the tools with which that up and coming or low level ransomware gangs or extortion gangs can like buy a la carte from them and create they can buy a rat, and then they can buy the IAB portion or the access broker portion, and use a rat and then tie those things together. So if they want to use a NEMCOS rat and they want to get some IAB credentials from this company, they can just grab those things and pull them in and create a ransomware or an extortionware platform wholesale, right? Through like very similar to how AWS is. You buy an S3 bucket, you buy DynamoDB, you get some Lambda functions, a little bit from column A, a little bit from column B, boom, you've got an application that runs in AWS. Same thing for the Everest Group cartel, but in this case, you've got a little IAB here, a little bit of Monica on my my right, and you get your Mambo number 5, and now you have ransomware. Um, so yeah, it's interesting. I think we talked about that on the last Sunday call. Was like hacker cartel affiliate programs. Yeah, see, Dragon Force, the ransomware group, is forming a hacking cartel. So they're. I think I actually posted this one up specifically, um, suggesting that now they're gonna. That's creepy with the digital nervous system thing. Um, but yeah, so they're building ransomware as a service offerings and infrastructure and accessible tools, expanding opportunities for threat actors with limited technical knowledge. So you want to be a bad guy. Maybe you got laid off from your company and you want to decide, hey, I'm going to get into being a bad guy as a service or something. So you can go to these companies and they'll get you the stuff. So um, they also follow a moral compass, and they follow a moral compass, not the moral compass, and are against attacking certain healthcare organizations. I think they also said they're not going to allow attacking certain countries, like in the BRICS, so Brazil, Russia, India, China, those kinds of things. Um, but yeah, that's funny. Okay. Um, what else have we got here? Let's see. 5 steps to improve your incident response time. Do I want to read a listicle? Oh no. Adidas falls victim to a third-party data breach. What happened? So Adidas, I think that's how they say it outside the United States, Adidas, said that no payment or financial information was affected. Individuals who contacted the company's customer service help desk were impacted. So if you've ever called Adidas and you have had a problem with your shoe or your boot in this case, you all right, the affected data includes customer contact information who interacted with the Adidas customer service help in the past. Does not include passwords, credit cards, or other payment or financial information. Okay, so it sounds like it's not horrible. Could have been much worse. Let's see. Isn't the first popular brand to be hit with data breaches or cyber attacks recently Marks and Spencer? Yeah, I think we talked about that one as well. Luxury store Harrods were all targets of ransomware attacks. Marks and Spencer reported that the personal information of customers was stolen in the attack and that its store operations have been disrupted. Scattered Spider was potentially responsible for the attack, deploying Dragon Force ransomware. See, we're just coming right back to Dragon Force, right? Against the UK retailer, causing $400 million on earnings. That is rough. So, Dragon Force, again, going back to what I just talked about, hacking cartel. Let me shut my door. There we go. So, it's interesting to see nation state actors or named actors like Scattered Spider using a third or fourth party to disrupt. Let me see. Scattered Spider. UNC 3944, made up of teens or young adults believed to live in the United States or United Kingdom. Okay, so yeah, I want to say that, yes. So according to Wikipedia, gained notoriety for their involvement in hacking extortion of Caesars Entertainment and MGM International, two of the largest casino and gambling companies. Okay, so these are still being, Scattered Spider still a thing. The fact that it is mostly teens and young adults in the United States and United Kingdom make me believe that I would say they're a loose affiliation, if you will. They probably, I imagine there's a high turnover based on how stupid some of the people in that group are, and they get picked up or arrested. Because I believe some of the folks did get arrested, right? sued in class action. Yeah, arrests. So some of the members in the group in January 2024 were arrested. Tyler Buchanan, aka Tyler B. Tyler, you need a better hacking. You need a better hacking name, dude, other than Tyler B. Um, King Bob, Elijah, other aliases, Michael Urban, Noah Michael Urban. Okay. Uh, he was arrested in Florida for a theft of 800,000 in cryptocurrency, and he used SIM swapping techniques in order to compromise victims' email and financial accounts. Oh, and in November 2024, a 19-year-old named Remington Ogletree. Wow, that's a hell of a name. 17-year-old juvenile in West Midlands police. So yeah, some of these folks are trying to make a quick buck, but don't realize what happens when they get arrested by police for dealing with working with scattered spider. So there you go. Turnover seems to be a little high unless you're good at what you do and you know how to cover your tracks. You get caught. Limited technical knowledge, I think, is what Dragon Force is planning on doing with their cartel. Limited knowledge. So you're just a wee baby hacker, and you're getting involved with the scattered spider folks, and they're building their infrastructure using the Dragon Force stuff. And hey, here's how we get you involved, and you can get fat loot, and you're going to burn out quick, but spend a little time in the pokey in the UK, and then you'll get out and be a member of society or something. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but some people that is the only they think they can make money, and if they do it right and they don't get caught, they can Mr. Robot their way to to that. So yeah, AT&T, Ticketmaster, Advance Auto Parts, Lending Tree, and Neiman Marcus. So yeah, 2 members of the group. The bad thing is it's profitable, right? We've seen that it is profitable, that you can collect that data, use it, sell it for Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies, hold people ransom for ransomware like Caesars or Coca-Cola in this case. Coca-Cola did not decide to, they decided to let their employee data go. So Coca-Cola will probably support them for a year for credit monitoring and what have you. But it's interesting that Coca-Cola did not pay the ransom for these employees. Maybe they felt like that was not worth doing so. So in this case, Coca-Cola lost the employees' data. Depending on how much the ransom was for, Coca-Cola did not feel that it was worth the value of their employees' data to pay the ransom. And so now the employee data is out there. I wonder how much it would have cost for Coca-Cola to pay the ransom. So if it's like, we want 15 Bitcoin, Coca-Cola's like, yeah, that's too much money for that data. So the Coca-Cola did not value that at whatever the ransomware was. So if it, did they actually say in the article? Let's see, Cyber News. So they didn't say how much. Is there another site that maybe says, hey, they let's see, Coca-Cola ransomware. Here's cybersecurity news. Is it different? Okay. Significant, potentially millions of customers. Is this? No. Yeah, this is. Is this a different one? Okay, so they say 23 million records here. Wait, is this updated? When was this updated? 27 May. That's today. This is 22 May, and they're saying, wait, is this a different one? Group alleges 23 million records, including Salesforce accounts. Okay, so they referenced the bottler who paid $1.5 million to hackers to prevent the leak. The timing is particularly interesting as the group's own dark web leak site was defaced by an unknown attacker in April 2025. Security researchers noted the site was replaced with a message reading, "Don't do crime. Crime is bad. XOXO from Prague." Oh my God. It's hilarious. That's hilarious. Yeah, that's weird. So they're making it sound like there was way more records on this article than there was actually. Um, hmm. You know what? Let me go find out. Let me see. Employee. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Daily security review. Okay. Everett claims to have leaked Coca-Cola employee and HR data, including PII, potentially tied to a Middle Eastern distributor. Coca-Cola's and this was as of the 23rd. Okay. According to the attackers, the breach involved the exposure of personal details, nearly 1,000 Coca-Cola employees. Okay. Leak allegedly includes PII, employee data. Yeah, yeah, yeah. One image displayed consistent with those typically maintained by Human Resources Department. Yeah, 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 yeah. Coca-Cola has not publicly confirmed the breach or disclosed any significant specific impacts, likely ongoing. Okay, so, hmm, this is interesting. Okay, so this article is from 27th, from today. This one was from the 23rd. Um, they investigated it, but according to, whether or not this is new or old. Uh, okay, so the card this must be like breaking news. So they Coca-Cola decided to not pay whatever the cost was for this, and they leaked 1,104 files online. Some of them may be duplicates, or just somebody has more data inside the HR system than they normally do. Uh, is this really just a? I think they, what was it? The article before, I think they said $1.5 million or something. Let me see. Coca-Cola ransomware. They asked for only $1.5 million. Oh no, that was the 2023 leak about. Okay, so um, that's my question. I mean, so, and I don't know if anybody's watching this has been involved in any ransomware attacks, but Coca-Cola has employee data. Um, Here's something from 5 days ago. Yeah. Coca-Cola's operations in the Middle East, several files including indicating the Dubai office and the Dubai Airport Free Zone, or DAFs, DAFZ, DAFZ. Um, so the bad guy said, "Pay us, or we're going to dump your Coca-Cola, personal customer, personal employee data." Um, Data 7.5 million. So there's just numbers all over the place depending on which organization or which one you read. Group says it's exfiltrated more than 23 million records dating back to 2016 off of their Salesforce site. Group also posted named at Coca-Cola employees. They're open to offers and warning they may have more where that came from. Coca-Cola did not pay the ransom, as we know, so that data got leaked as of this morning or today. So going back to what I said, Coca-Cola was offered to, pay this ransom. We won't leak this data. Coca-Cola says no. The employee data got leaked. How much money would they, so if they said say $1.5 million, okay, in Bitcoin or whatever it is, Coca-Cola says no, leaks the employee data. My question is, did the ransomware people break it up? If you pay us this much, we won't leak the employee data. You pay us this much, we won't leak customer data. you pay us this much, we won't leak 75 million? What's that? Was it? Yeah, 7.5 million Salesforce records at 6 gig, 6 gigs worth of data, 6 million contact entries, 400,000 product records. Let's say it was another company and ransomware people say, well, we have all of your employee data, all of it. We dumped your Salesforce, we dumped your CRM, pay us $5 million or we'll leak it. That company doesn't do so, and the ransomware leakers share your information from your company that didn't do a good job of protecting that data, does that allow the employees to open up a class action? I would think so, because then that means the company didn't do their due diligence to protect the data in the first place. But then when given an out by the bad guys to say, pay us $1 million, may pay us 1.5 million and we won't leak your data, they didn't do that. They are negligent by not, yeah, I don't know. But it feels like that maybe Coca-Cola doesn't care about their employees enough to protect their data in the first place, but then also not, capitulate and pay the ransom so that it won't potentially get shared again in the next case. I just find something troubling with that. I don't know. What does everyone else think? Anybody else want to make any comments there? I mean, what would happen if your company decided to not pay the ransom for your company data? Would you be unhappy with that? Would you say, well, okay, that's just the cost of doing business with my company that can't control my, the HR data or the Salesforce data or the Workday data? Like if your Workday instance got owned up by, maybe not even by your own company, but it's like, do you expect Workday to pay that? What does that look like? I'm just kind of, in awe of the fact that Coca-Cola would do that to 1,000 employees, that it would not pay that because they didn't secure the data in the first place. Now they're having to not pay because they didn't not invest in security or not do the needful to protect their own employee data. Just kind of sucks. And I get it. It's the US is like, yeah, we have laws saying we don't pay ransomware people, but in the same vein, you didn't, you didn't do what was necessary to protect the customer data in the first place. So, yeah, some very interesting discussions. Maybe we'll bring that up with our interview that I want to have. That's an interesting thought. Yes. Yes. Yes, I will do that. I'm going to keep those links because I want to add those to some of the discussion that we can have here. Oh, Robin Hood ransomware attacker pleads guilty in U.S. court. Yay! An Iranian national behind a spate of ransomware attacks against U.S. municipalities, including an attack that cost Baltimore $19 million, pled guilty in federal court. How did they get that guy? How did they get him? Pled guilty to 1 count of computer fraud and abuse, a count of conspiracy to wire fraud. Charges lead to 30 years in prison. Okay. That's a lot, to be fair, especially in North Carolina. How did they get him, though? Did he go to some place that had an extradition treaty? They didn't. Obviously, he pled guilty, so he either lived in the United States or 10 million in direct IT recovery, 8.5 in lost or delayed revenue. He demanded 13 Bitcoin. Wow, only $76,000. Wait a minute. Okay. Oh, then worth roughly $76,000. Okay, so this was in 2019. So That same 13 Bitcoin would be worth what, $500,000 now? Something like that. BTC. Yeah, okay, so 1.3 million. It'd be worth 1.3 million. So it's over $100,000 for Bitcoin now. Wow, that's a hell of a deal. Okay, be almost 1.4 million for that. Microsoft wrote Robinhood hackers loaded a driver used to control hardware made by Gigabyte on the victim's computers. I remember that. I remember reading about that one. 2018 19320. That's right. Escalation privilege, gaining access to the kernel. Use that access to load an unsigned driver that disabled security products. Yes, 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 yes. So yeah, apparently this Iranian national got stupid and went on vacation somewhere, because I doubt that Iran would actually give up that person to the United States. Um, maybe went to Vietnam or someplace like that, thinking that they were safe, and they got picked up. Not the first time I've heard of Russian hackers doing the same thing, but then they get extradited once they go on vacation where they want to go. Anyway, let me see one other. Several articles for that. Let me see if there's some additional information in one of these. Let's see. Central services. I just want to know how he got caught by U.S. authorities and extradited. I'm interested in that, but that's just me. Oh, better Apple binary analysis for Gidra. Okay, well that's good. Oh, I actually saw something else. Wait. Wait, don't tell me. No, there were some tools that I added in our Slack channel. Let me see, was it reverse red teaming? Uh, yes, that's it right there. Decomp AI. So this is a binary analysis and decompilation agent. It's an LLM agent that automates binary analysis and decompilation workflows. Whether you're a newcomer to RE and an experienced practitioner, allows you to explore, debug, and decompile x86 libraries in a conversational interface. Now, this probably won't work for me because I'm on Apple Silicon, but if you are on a Windows box, go give this a shot, especially if you're not good at reverse engineering, or maybe it's too complicated, it's time consuming, so you can use this. I don't know what. Let's see, what are you going to use for this? Let's see, React style agent uses binary analysis, disassemble sections, summarize assembly. Tool integration uses obj dump. Oh, it uses Gidra with AI hooks. So there you go. Built on LangGraph, LangChain, and Gradio. Yep. These are like the two big ones that you use when you're creating like a chatbot-like interface for AI stuff. It's very, very interesting. Oh, it also does session persistence. Uploading the same binary restores your previous workspace. So cool, and it uses Docker, so you're going to need some Docker. So it'll build your stuff automatically. It probably has a .docker file or a .build file that you can use with a web front end, which is cool. Upload a binary. I don't know if this will work on OS X, but if you have a Windows box, have at. What was the other thing that let me see, where was it? Lobster Forge, open source infrastructure management platform. Yes, let me see. Well, I posted this up to the pen testing and red team thing. It said Windows is and always will be potato land. To dive into the world, some of the recently published potato techniques that can lead to more serious risks than just privilege escalation. You can check this one out as well. Reddit has been I don't want to say a wealth of information, but there's some really good, interesting blog posts that you'll find on there, or articles from companies like from Nico Vikowski, talking about decom technology, some of the legacy stuff that's still available in Windows for yeah, James Forshaw working common 60 seconds. So there's a YouTube video from James Forshaw. He wrote a couple of books at No Starch Press about decom and other areas, Black Hat, Python, I think as well. So let's see, paste. Some excellent stuff there. What else was it? Linux kernel Rust module for rootkit detection. Yeah, copy link. Here's another one. Yeah, Linux kernel Rust module for rootkit detection. This was an article I had a chance to read through. I understood a good majority of it, but there's still some stuff missing. But if you are interested in that as well, let me see. Oh yeah, Funny Wolf Viper adversary simulation and red teaming platform with AI. So has a nice user interface, but if you're into red teaming and those things, this was another one that I posted up there. I sometimes feel like I'm the only one who posts any links into Slack for content or things that are found, but AI red team platform built to make you extraordinarily offensive. Viper is the best way to perform adversary emulation and red teaming with AI. I've always wondered that. A red team. Yeah, we're a red team, but do you actually do red teaming based on adversary emulation, or are you building your own stuff? Because if you're building your own stuff and your team detects you, congratulations, you've detected your own red team, but you missed scattered spider, or you missed some kind of Remcos rat, or Nico rat, or some other remote access Trojan. If you're trying to detect potential threat actors from organizations like China or Russia or any of the Brazil or whatever, and you're not using the techniques those threat actors are using, are you actually doing a good red team? That's just something I like to think about in my in the odd times. If you're not following the write-ups from Sentinel One or one of those other organizations about how they do that, or that run book, that would be ideally what I would think a red team would want to do. You'd want to use whatever existing run books are available, or whatever IOCs are available, or whatever tactics are available to say how, the red team would be like, how well are we going to protect against a scattered spider, or a UNC 3944, which is the same organization, but Salt Typhoon, for instance. How well would we protect against a Salt Typhoon type attack using those types of tooling, right? Yeah, just I actually saw an article. They said telecoms may never actually be able to completely get rid of Salt Typhoon. Never get rid of Salt Typhoon. There, yes, from Cyberscoop. I saw this one. This is scary. Like, experts tell Cyberscoop US Telecom is just too technologically fragmented to get a clear picture of threats, and too big to ever fully eject all espionage efforts. That sucks. I mean, it's like, ow, ow, I'm constantly getting stabbed by a sword, but I really can't do anything about it, so I'm going to continually get stabbed by that sword. So it isn't hard to hide. That's right. And to be fair, I found out that Some telecom organizations, and I won't name names, but I've heard from people who work in those telecom organizations or worked in those telecom organizations, that some of the telecom organizations don't want to find bad guys in their organizations. And I take that to mean that if your IT organization or your incident response organization finds evidence of Assault Typhoon, go ahead and reimage that box. Well, no, we have to actually keep track of this box because it has evidence that we may have been don't say the B word, just reimage the box. But we have to investigate this as a potential. No, reimage the box. And if you don't reimage the box, you get a nice fun employment vacation versus keeping your job and just covering up the fact that there may have been a breach. I may or may not know that that is a thing that happens. Ethical? No. Business? Cost of doing it, right? But this probably goes to that same thing. It's like they can't ever remove it, right? If one access point is patched or closed and the actors are evicted, they often simply exploit another chain of vulnerabilities. They are so deep inside of telecoms right now, you cannot get rid of them. Not without what it sounds like burning the whole thing down and starting over. And even then, there's no guarantee that you can actually rebuild that because telecoms are high availability, 100% up. If you can't make phone calls, you're critical infrastructure now, right? You can't just go, yeah, we're just going to, burn down a bunch of servers and turn off our cell phone networks for a while. U.S. officials insist that Assault Typhoon remains active in U.S. networks. Experts spoke with Cyberscoop say that statements about telecoms about their exposure are overflowing with legalese, measuring one point in time, and don't account for numerous ways that attackers could re-enter telecom infrastructure. So, yay, we ejected them from our network. They're going to lie low because, they're not. You're probably not, if you're anything like the telecom organizations, you're not monitoring 100% of your network. And as we've seen with things like the Verizon data breach report, they've had 220 days to be inside your network undetected to lay anything, multiple anythings. So yeah, you got rid of that one implant, great. How many other implants have they already, different kinds of implants that they can use to, not be detected or, yeah. So that's some bad news. Your telecom, is going to continue to be owned, which sucks. But that's just kind of the cost of doing business, isn't it? Let me see. Cutler said that part of the difficulty in tracking Assault Typhoon stems from a lack of confirmed granular indicators of compromise for threat hunters to track. These types are really targeted or threat hunting IOCs to look for. Just haven't seen no Assault Typhoon. I feel like there's not enough for me to hunt on regularly and reliably to be able to say, yeah, I think we have a pretty good removal of this activity. It could be Assault Typhoon is super, like, I don't want to say nebulous, but their run books are so varied where they can say, well, we'll just use playbook 13B, and things might actually get more complicated, especially if things like Dragon Force is out there being able to leverage multiple methods by which of doing things. Let's say, Assault Typhoon decides, well, we want to get in bed with Dragon Force, or we want to get in bed with this other group, and they have multiple different ways of doing things. So, their method by which they're doing business will morph and change and be have more alacrity, right? 6-month trend from Census released in April found over 200,000 public exposures of 4 popular networking and edge devices with vulnerabilities that are known or thought to have been exploited by Salt Typhoon. So they're not going anywhere. I mean, 200,000 public exposures. How often, of those 200,000, how many actually are going to get patched or not patched? Not all exposed devices are necessarily vulnerable. Many researchers remain frustrated by the lack of direct telemetry on Salt Typhoon. However, nevertheless, the report reaches an unsettling conclusion. Despite growing awareness of Salt Typhoon, there's been little meaningful reduction in exposed, reportedly targeted devices on the public internet, just 25% since 2024. Yeah, that's rough. That's rough. So, yes, tech stacks managed by telecoms are massive, complex, and reflective of the industry's decade-long history of consolidation. In many cases, executives viewed acquisitions as the quickest and most efficient path to accomplish that goal, which is the transforming of the media. Problem is, as you're acquiring companies, you're also acquiring their tech debt or their trash or their garbage or their exposed endpoints and attack surface, which they may not themselves know every attack surface that they have, even though you're supposed to do some kind of audit before acquisitions and M&As occur. You're not going to be able to turn all that off, right? So when a company acquires another, there you go. I said tech debt or security debt, but it's the same thing that smart person. Oh wait, that smart person said right there. When a company acquires one another, they're very much acquiring the security vulnerability to that company too. Telecoms had purchased multiple regional carriers, wide variety of technology types, and networks upon networks that have layered everything from copper wires to 5 and 6G technologies. So you have every possible tech stack out there with every possible vulnerability because they haven't done what's needed to do to patch. So securing that is hard. You've absorbed essentially the security posture and build in all different emergency response and cert-like functions for every one of those acquisitions that you do. Yeah, so just, think about that. If you're a shareholder in those companies, just know those. I have AT&T stock. I just bought AT&T stock because it was sitting at a fairly low rate. I am aware that AT&T is going to get breached. I'm well aware that PR is going to be, handling those. So they'll get breached, they'll do better, they'll go up. It's just you're going to have that. Oh, we had, and then it's going to go up, and then they're going to have another little breach, and then it's going to go up. It's just the way of things. So, it's interesting. It's sad because you know that they're not going to be able to do anything about it. But when you have a bunch of industry that is patchwork and legacy and huge footprints and dispersed and geographically and disparate across multiple areas, you're going to run into those issues, and that's a complex problem. And unfortunately, they keep getting rid of qualified people that is trying to work in their best interests. So, Michael, got you, man. You're gonna land. You're gonna be just fine. So, anyway, I think I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna take off. Didn't plan on getting ranty like this, but we moved from AI to training in AI, where how to maintain yourself in the job market, to IR stuff. So that ended up taking up a good bunch of our time. My hair's actually gotten better since I got back to the SoCal area. One of the problems that I had in New York was it was super moist and my hair was frizzed up. It was like, just, poof. Um, but anyway, it's Tuesday, so I'm kind of thrown off because of my first day back to work. But looking forward to Friday. Hopefully, I'll have the interview firmed up. I want to do it on Sunday night because this person is now unemployed for all intents and purposes. But I want to talk to her maybe about some of the the ransomware stuff because she worked at a Fortune 10-ish company and would love to talk to her about what it's like being oh, hey, Fluffy Bunny. thanks for chatting. I appreciate you. Um, is there anybody on Twitch right now that we would want to go and like raid? I mean, I want to help out people because people don't, people tend to hang out. Sid Heresy's online. Computer Booter. Okay. Well, T-Pain's online. Uh, Building Robot Citadel Rush. Okay. Let me see. Getting your first tech job. Oh, okay. Primogen. Oh, these are the folks from boot.dev here. Let me, looks like they're chatting about things. Yeah, okay. We don't go there. Treating GitHub repos like a database. Let's just go over and hang out with Sid Heresy for a while. All right. Sid will probably be doing some content. It's like he's soldering some stuff up. So if you want to go and check out and see what he's doing, we'll go do that. And so I'll be back on Friday and we will talk again, maybe do some boot.dev, do some more OOP stuff on Python. But yeah, hope everyone has a good time. We're going to go raid Sid Heresy now. And yeah, have a good day. Talk soon, y'all. Bye.